Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Gen Con. I'm here at much closer to the time I swear I was going to stream, and today we're going to cover a lot of different games that I got a chance to sit down and play from a bunch of different companies. Thank you so much for everyone who is sitting along and joining in, dealing with all my little technical hiccups here and there. But without further ado, let's get started. So, the first game we're going to talk about from Board and Dice, and that is Tiltum. I think I'm saying that wrong. We'll go over and take a look at some of the images now. By the way, first off, this is my test image that show of my cute little pup. Look at her. She's adorable. She's not here at Gen Con, though. Anyways, so this is it's not worker placement. It's your controlling the cities. You have little merchant carts you can see there, and you're going to move them from city to city, either building these little houses you can see there, or the pillars. You can see the blue one in Paris, one of each. And you're doing that because there's going to be random goals at the beginning of the game for each city. And they'll tell you, like, in this city, you're going to get 2 points plus 6 for every house and pillar there. But you will only score those if you have presence there. You'll have presence if either a house is there, conveniently one of them wants houses there, or if your little market wagon is there. So sometimes you'll have to decide where you're going to build and make sure you can get points in those cities. Other times you may have to try to book it there, and not everyone can build in those places sometimes. So that might be your only option, is try to make it there. And depending on where the cities are, it could be quite spread among Europe. You've also got plenty of resources, and there's a player board right there. You actually will be looking at the player board. You will actually be gathering people to place into the houses, and if you fill them up, you will get a special bonus based on the person. But the bigger houses need to have the same person, and each house has to have a different person from the other one. So, like, if you have all your artisans in the 3 building, then your 2's got to be craftsmen, and then 1 has to be a different kind of noble. Things of that nature. So there's a bit of an interesting set collecting there as well. But the way you're going to get that all, it should be the next, which is great, is this die window here you can see. Now, you're going to roll a bunch of those dice. The color of the dice corresponds to these resources you can see to the left. And there's a little wheel that turns there. So, for example, you can see the 5 dice are going to end up in the where all the dice you notice have 5. You're going to roll them, and those are going to be random, but the number that they correspond will go to a certain action. That will rotate each round, so the 5 may be on a different action later on. And when you pick up a die, you're going to get 1 to do resources. So let's say I take that light gray 5. I could get 5 of the wool, but then I only get 2 for the action slot it's in, which is picking up nobles. I could do the other way around. I can get very little resources, but lots of actions. So a lot of this, there will be some randomness in terms of which dice come out when, but it's going to be choosing, like, do you go for the bigger resources and little actions, or do you get a lot of that action versus little resource? So an interesting twist there. I think that is all the picture. Oh, no, I have one more picture for this game. And, yeah, this just shows more of the player board, the map, and the different pieces you can get. And those are some of the nobles. And there's another board. You're also going to gather up some crests. That's very important. The pillars, by the way, I didn't mention the pillars. Pillars are used to build. You can see, actually, I think I can zoom in. Yes. Here, you'll notice these buildings tokens that have a number in the corner of a bottom 8. One's a 4, one's a 9. Those are churches, and you can build to gain those churches to get bonus points, but you need pillars there. So the pillars are sort of like how you get rewarded for sort of helping build the community, while the small houses are more like your merchant districts. You're setting up shop there, if you will. So there's competing all over the board versus different ways to score. And I'm just going to zoom out really quick before I switch off. But that is what we're going to see. Hoser asks, how many lazy dragons did I have today? Is that a drink? I don't know what that is. I saw many dragons today. I posted a few of them on Instagram. But, yeah, the game itself, Looks like a little bit lighter than their other games, the games I've played before. Teotihuacan, where you're not moving around your dice and worrying about the number there. The dice just rolled, and you see what you do, and you have to deal with it that way. But interesting if you like that sort of Euro workplace. The other game, I didn't get to play it, but a lot of people were really it sold out for them. Was Terracotta Warrior? Terracotta Army. And the reason I bring that up is because I did save it, and they got me a copy to review here. So, right side up. Let me know what you think of this, and if you're excited to hear me take a look at it. I'm very curious to see how this will play out. But definitely something very cool there. So that is something you can look forward for reviews. But moving on, what else? What is the next thing we've got to talk about? All right. Got to visit Rollacrate again. They do all the Gen Con promotional stuff. I actually used that time to pick up a few things. I'll quickly show off. Yes. I got this shirt, which I didn't take out of the bag yet. Speaking of dragons and stuff. It's just dragon on dice. I liked it. And then we've also got a cool banner here because I thought this would look very nice against my blue wall set since, this is black and red. And it says Gen Con on it. So, a nice little banner to hang up. We also talked about their game, though, the Heroes of Barcadia. That is, I think they said, come September, it should be good and available. They're going to actually have at PAX Unplugged like a big showing off party at I forget the name of it, but it's one of the board game cafes there. So if you're going to PAX Unplugged, that might be something to see if you can look into and be a part of. Looked a lot of fun. If you don't know, Heroes of Barcadia is a drinking game. It's a game you don't have to do heavy drinking, but it's that kind of game where you have cups with different health levels, moving around, sort of the making fun of like cute little pun names, a half pint, so on and so forth. I think I talked about it in our review. I'm pretty sure, I'm almost certain we talked about it in the review when I actually had for Rollacrate. If you want to roll a crit, but if you want to learn more, you can definitely check out that. Moving on though, Clank Catacombs. Can't believe I forgot to take pictures of this one, but this is the tile laying version of Clank Catacombs. If you ever played Clank, odds are you've probably run into the player who, since they've seen the board and maybe have experience, can I know the most efficient path. I mean, depending on what cards come out, can change, but that tends to be at least what happens with me. And this one tries to get around it because you never know what's going to happen. So the way this one works is that the tiles are going to have multiple. Each tile has two paths on each side, so there's no misconnect. No matter how you rotate, you'll be able to connect it. When you move off the board, you're going to flip over the next tile, and you're going to align it how you choose. Now, that may require you to go across a monster then. It may take you into a treasure room. So you won't be guaranteed to know what's going on. They did not mention, Donald, I'm sorry, any kind of Clank support right now, or solo support. There's Clank support in a new Clank game, but this was all multiplayer. They did not bring up solo at all as an option, unfortunately. This one, though, once you flip over I think it was like 4 tiles, then those are like starter tiles. The rest have the option to flip over a ghost, which adds a cube to the bag that you draw, and every time you draw the cube, everyone takes damage, meaning the more people explore, the more haunted you get, and the more damage you're going to get, which means you can probably all die. So instead of that usual, did I get a treasure far enough and can I make my way back because the dragon's going to wake up, it's more of, do I keep the treasure I have now or explore where I get more haunted, which is going to eventually kill us all? Or at least you. You're more worried about you. You don't care what happens to everyone else. So that is something you're going to have to worry about. There's still a dragon in here. But the other interesting thing is because the way the tiles work, there are a lot of one-way paths. So you could find a treasure, but you technically have no way back out yet. So you're going to have to desperately try to make your way out. And of course, there are new cards, which include ways for you to rotate tiles, meaning that you may think you have a way out, but someone could rotate a tile for you. So it really adds a complete twist on it. Hoser, this is actually a new version. So you have new cards with new things that make sense for tile laying and rotating. There may be some cards that are duplicates. I didn't get to look through all of them, but this is designed to be its own standalone. It is not a Clank expansion, rather a reimagining of it. It's one I personally like because I do have, as I said, the kind of person who knows the most efficient path in and out of the Clank maps. So having one where it completely changes every time is something I enjoy. We also went a little bit over, of course, not Twilight, Dune, and the new game and the expansion. So Dune Imperium, they had the collector's edition there with all the miniatures. I think they sold out at this point, but maybe they have more for the next day. I didn't ask. I just saw the sellout sign. They only had one copy of the new expansion, the Immortality. If you don't know, that's the one that involves the new sort of grafting and the new track. There wasn't too much I can tell you that I didn't say in the preview there. Pretty much you're going to have a new tracking go up, and the farther you go, you may trigger new options on certain cards, and certain cards can graft so you can play multiple cards together. It looks like it's going to just give you some more deck building options and strategies for you, and more powers. But you know, I like Dune Imperium, and I'm excited to try out this expansion along with it. So that was a lot of the stuff I got to see from Direwolf. They also had a lot of their digital games there, including the new Everdell one that I actually did a video for just recently. So if you're curious about those, you can check it out. But then AEG that is next, and they had a lot to go over. So we're going to go over that. First thing we're going to go over is actually, hold on, yeah. Yeah, no, they keep adding stuff for Clank. Clank is going to be the kind of game I think we imagine we're just going to see more and more added. It's one of it's doing very well, so it's going to be sort of your smash up, your legendary. I mean, I just do card games. There's certain games I think that become the evergreen tiles that they always grow. But at AEG, they had a lot to offer. The first one being, I'm actually going to show it off right here. It's Wormholes. Not going to show it up upside down again. So this game has you using this fun little space exploration map, and obviously there is a lot of ground to cover, and if you watch any sci-fi, we don't like doing that. That takes too long. So the way you're going to do that is, wherever you are, you can drop wormholes, and once you drop the matching other end, so like you drop the yellow one and then drop the other yellow one, it flips over and becomes a way for you to travel for free. You move 3 a turn, but going through a wormhole does not cost anything. And you can use other people's wormholes, but if you do, they get a victory point. It's not a tax, but there is something the player will get out of it if other people use it. So what happens is everyone's going to start placing wormholes around the map, and the reason you're doing this is there's a lot of it's pick up delivery. You'll be getting people who want to be dropped to certain planets. So soon you're going to have this giant map where you're going to be hopping. Like for 3 movements, you're going to be like, all right, I can start here, move to this wormhole, then to this wormhole, then this wormhole, then this wormhole, and do like this whole crazy combination where, you know, first 3 moves feels like it takes forever. It looked like it's going to be the kind of game where those final few rounds just get really wild and crazy. Definitely a really silly game to look into that. The next one I want to talk about, and this one I will go back to all my photos for. Boom. Is Shake. Go back to here. Yeah, Shake That City. This is going to be coming to Kickstarter in October, and the way it works is right now you see that cube pattern in the center of the table. So that was created by this yellow box that says the title of the Shake Game City in there. You drop the cubes in there, you shake it, and you put it down. And if you've ever played Camel Cup, same thing. Like with the pyramid, you push it in with a rubber band, and it lays out the cubes in that grid. It was really fun to watch. And what happens is you're on your turn, you're going to have to choose, like I choose the red cubes, and add the red cubes to the city in the configuration that they're there. It almost reminds me of Dog Lover, where you take the tricks, you can take the cards in the pattern that they're there. You have to like place them on the board there, and each cube corresponds to a city block that's scored differently. in ways that you probably expect. Like I think it was the blue ones, which I think were stores want to be closer to the center, but they need streets. The houses want to be gathered up, but they're near a factory. They're not going to score because factories and houses don't want to be near each other. So it looked like a really fun, cute game that had. I want to just play with that thing that laid down all the cubes. That was just alone looks like just a silly, fun toy almost. I don't think I have another one, but we can go on. Yes, this next one though, I imagine is gonna be. It's one of those games. It's gonna hit streaming really hard, and as soon as someone finds a way, whether it's digitally only through Tabletop Simulator or something, this is gonna be the game people play with their audience. So this game, which Ready Set Bet, the way it works is this is a horse racing game, and you're going to be placing bets on horses as they move up the track. Now, I didn't get the picture of the track there, but luckily, I can just cut that. This is one I can actually show off, so you can see the track right up there. Sorry for the light and the reflection. But that is going to be one person controlling all the horses, rolling dice for them. They're rolling 2 dice that correspond to a horse. So, like Catan style, the 7 tends to move faster, but the other horses, if you roll twice in a row, get a bonus. So that is the way that they said they flattened out the curve. But what happens is where everyone else, if we can actually go back to that betting screen, you can see, boom. People are going to have tiles. Oop, nope, don't want to see that. People are going to have tiles, numbers matching corresponding spaces, and you're going to place bets, and like you can make it all in on 5, as you can see, which I did there. But you can do like it come in second place or just show, and you're going to doing while the horses are racing. You're like, all right, and only one person can bet there. I'm going to go on 5, going to go on 5, and you're like, no, why'd you take that space? Oh God, oh no, 9's coming up now. 9's coming up now. So this is that kind of game. Everyone's going to start shouting at each other, trying to get the bets, and just chaos is going to ensue. And of course, they now, like I said, someone's going to be rolling dice for that horse board, but there is going to be an app, should you so choose. That way, you know, the person rolling dice doesn't get murdered by the other players because they didn't roll the right numbers. But the app is going to have voiceover, people calling and random numbers and things going up. And there's going to be some voices you recognize there on there, so definitely go check it out when it comes out. But they also got, I think they said, one professional, like actual like horse track announcer, which just sounds crazy. I really can't wait to see this app in person. In particular, like I mentioned with them, I love the idea of screening on TV. So there's a nice big screen showing the horse race as they move up, and everyone just shouting, trying to place bets as quickly as possible. So that was one I think is just going to be such a fun party game. Now, this next one is like Let's Go on a Trip Japan. I think it's coming to Kickstarter in January. So a bit more prototypey than the rest. The Shake It Up City was, I think, this October, they said, Kickstarter. But, like, it was pretty finalized. So they probably said, like, first half of 23 you'd be able to get it. But this one is all about planning your itinerary to Japan. Apparently, the designer was on their way to Japan, and something happened. They couldn't go. So they made this instead. So it's all about planning on the certain days, and also like certain days you attribute like this day, this is when you want to go to all the museums, or this is where you want to get all the food. So you're going to have to divvy out cards there, but cards can either be played one time for their bonus, that match, or you can make them like main events you want to go to, but that requires you to like get a bunch of different symbols there as well, and if you do, you score even more points. So it looks like a very nice set collecting game, nice in terms of almost like calm, and almost, but also just like, yeah, I want to go here. Yeah, that looks fun. So I imagine it's going to just make make me at very least just very like, man, I wish I could go there. That looks so good. But that's coming. I'm looking forward to that. There was this waffle game too. Unfortunately, I was looking away and talking with someone else really quick, so I didn't really hear too much about it. But it looks really cute and fun. Once again, prototypey, little pieces. I mean, it's decorating waffles. Who doesn't like waffles? But that is enough, of course, of that. Let me just quickly check in with you guys again. Oh, the betting game. I think that one is coming out later this year. I can't remember. I don't think I mean, we got final copies, but some reason in my head I'm like, oh, it was a Kickstarter. But now I'm like, oh man, I gotta really double check that really quick. I can update that, but definitely keep. I know the app is not out yet. I can definitely say the app is not out. Um, Let me just see if I can guarantee. See if some. Ready, set, bet. Let's see. If it has the Kickstarter tag, then I know I was right in remembering Kickstarter. It says this year, so my guess it's going to be out in the second half of this year. There's just so many Kickstarters, so I probably like put my head in like, oh, it's a Kickstarter. But yeah, I'm almost certain that this will be okay. Yeah, limited quantities and September 30th. So great. I was. It is just the game. I mean, explains. I have a physical copy, and it's not a Kickstarter preview copy. But yeah, looks like an absolute shocking, hilarious party game. It was not something I expected. Oh, and I completely forgot to mention, in case like I keep saying party, but there's actually a game element of like VIP cards where you can get bonus powers, unique chips. So it does have a lot more going to it rather than just betting. I can't believe I completely forgot about that part. I was just so excited about shouting numbers and yelling at each other. But really excited, and I'm going to find a way to make this work where I can control the horses, or I'm rolling the dice of horses, and the people and do a stream like this where you are all betting. I think it's gonna be hilarious with that. Let me see what else. Checking my little notepad. I feel like I'm so glad I checked my notepad. There was one other game from AEG that we actually got before. And it's that old Wallpaper. This looks like an interesting color matching game. The idea behind it was trying to remember that old wallpaper at your grandparents' house. Like, what was that weird pattern and how to do that? So the whole idea is you're trying to collect and finish these cards. But in fact, I'm going to open it because these were really pretty. If I remember the demonstration. Of course, as always, this is going to be... There we go. Just open that bit. Come on. There we go. So, like this one, you're trying to match there's the small symbols with the large ones. There's the... So, like so. Hopefully you can get another card that matches. Not these two that match, but here we go. Something like that. There's a big symbol matching. But when you distribute these cards, they're going to be in piles, and you're going to have cards numbered like so. And you're going to use those to be like, I want this pile. But if two people play the same number, that actually boots them out. And as a consolation, they get a little wild that only works for one side. But it becomes this weird game of trying to guess what numbers your opponents are going to play without making sure that doesn't punish you. And it looks like a very quick, fun little pattern matching. Also fun just like messing with each other, being like, I played a 5. And see if anyone calls your bluff or not. Like, did he play 5? I don't want to get bumped. So it looked really... like simple but cute color patterns, and I'm very excited to try it out. And also, the gold foiling on the wild cards. I'm always up for that kind of style. Now, a few other things before we leave AEG that they gave. First off, there was a fun little story. They had these little authentic, actually like Spanish-era pirate coins, you can see here. And they actually had a gold one to give away. They actually had a contest. So this is how it happened. They had one. They said, we are giving away a actual certified gold Spanish coin. Audience, yeah, that's nice. That's cool. And someone else is going to win this Lego pirate ship. And then everyone's like, oh, Lego pirate ship. Just going to show where the excitement everyone had, and like whether it was actual piece of gold Spanish doubloons or Legos. The other thing I want to show off is these new promos they've made. You can see these here. These are for you can get only from you're gonna see other streamers and content creators have. They will only sell these promos once a year. They didn't. I don't think they said when. It's gonna be very special. Otherwise, they're gonna be often be giveaways for watching things like this, and that is no exception for me. I will give these away probably after Gen Con because right now I'm just trying to make sure I can get to you and give you the content and tell you what's going on. But if you are interested in any of these, stay tuned to the channel as I will come up with a cool way for you to receive these. But that is it. Oh, and they showed off the Dead Reckoning. The new Kickstarter's coming. I mean, I got to pay. I missed out on the last one. I remember it was like one of those weird moments. Like I thought it was in my email, and I usually wait to the 48-hour mark because I'm a procrastinator. But hopefully I'll be able to pick up all the stuff this time around. I'm very excited about that one. But like I said, AEG had a ton of stuff. They've just brought so much stuff to the table. But moving from there, let me pull up this, make sure I have this really quick. I believe it should be, yes, it was. Okay, so Hatchet Studios is where I went to next, and they had a bunch of games there. I'm going to open the image up first here, and ta-da! All right, so first thing we're going to go in like reverse order. The Ole Guacamole is, it was like $12, I think, like really light small game. The way it works is the first person will flip over a card, and it'll have letters on it, like... You cannot use the letters D and G. They can say any word that doesn't have that for the first person. So let's say they said boy. So then the next card flips, and let's say it has an A and an R. The next person that say a word doesn't have the D, the G, the A, the R, and it has to relate to the last word. So as more cards flip, you have less letters, and you got to still connect to the last word. And you are allowed to take advantage of, in the game example they showed me, someone said sun. Now, you could take that as S-U-N or S-O-N. So when that word hits you, if it has a homonym, you can try to relate it either way. But, of course, that isn't that simple. There are other cards in there, very Uno-style cards, like reversal. So, like, they reversed one on me, so I had to go right back again. I'm like, oh, no. And then they've also got ones where you got to say 2 words, things like that. So really quick, light word game, but very clever and very silly. And one of those ones especially where as the game progresses, it just gets harder and more terrifying. Now, the next one, the Linko there, that's where you actually see these numbers down here. It's one of those really interesting trivia games where you list out numbers from, I think it was 1 to 14. And then you're going to have a group of questions. Right now, that's a food one, but they have other categories as well. The one they actually used for me was, I can't remember what was the name of the category. It wasn't food I played with. But they'll ask you questions, and they're going to correspond to one of these numbers. So for me, like I had a question, how many golf clubs are supposed to be in a whole golf set, which was a terrible question that showed off how little I know about sports. But other questions like note scales, maroon blank, and you will try your best to match these to all these numbers. Then when you feel confident, you will have only one of those not answered, and you'll use that to flip it over, match it with the category card you are, and see if you are correct. So a really light trivia game. It's cute in that sense, and I think they said right now it's already available in Quebec, and very popular there, but this is the I think it's still prototype-y for American, or I guess wide English release. So the other one here is actually an expansion for I'm gonna butcher this, Nidavellir. This is I remember they explained it because I hadn't played the base game for it, but the original base game is all about like collecting cards and heroes, but the way you do that, you have coins that you bet on, not bet, but like sort of auction in terms of picking power, but one of them is a 0, and if you use a 0 coin, you can use that to actually upgrade one of your dice or coins, so it becomes this sort of do you go for the higher pick? Do you try to upgrade your coins so you can get better picks later on? And almost an arms race between bidding, but not actually like going for each other. There is already another expansion out that involved dwarves and hybrid colors. This one they said is really more of the same, so not really much new mechanics, just more Norse related. I think they said like Valkyries, Norse gods, giants, and wolves. So just more to add to your game if you really like that one. There was one other one to show off. Nope, it's this one. And this is a spacefaring game in which people have colonized both Earth and Mars. And I will look up the name afterwards. It's a planet of Jupiter, and I'm blanking on it right now, and I will get to it. But the goal is to gather up points, but the way you're going to do that is to pretty much send the robots the top cards to one of the moons. But the only way to do that is to have the right influence on either Earth or Mars. So cards are either red or blue. So for example, the far left robot needs 6 influence in Mars. And the next robot needs 4 on Earth, so on and so forth. So you're going to be managing that track. You only have the one influence track, so you can either be influential on Earth or Mars. Now you can pay to automatically switch over, or you can spend enough to go to 0 and then go back up. And the way you go back up are the bottom cards, the humans. Those give you influence. Now, if you're already in a track, you'll just move up on that track. If you're in 0, you can choose which one. And depending on what track where you end up on, you will get the red or the blue bonus. The top bonus is always just one-time instant. The bottom one stays with you and increases, like gets you more victory points as the game progresses. So this is really just managing all about that influence track up and down where your marker is. Really cute and clever mechanic there. It's a sequel to one of their games. I'm going to look it up really fast here. Games, no, that's not going to work. Hoser asked, has this Gen Con felt normal? Well, yes and no. Everyone's still heavily masked up, and at least for me, there's still that fear of, at least when I came over, I'm like, oh God, did I get COVID? I'm so worried just before. I don't want to catch it now. So, but I do know it's opened fully. I think there's still some sales, but I think we're pretty close to max. So I would not. I think we're definitely approaching more of a normal Gen Con. Just still masking up for now. I don't know when that's gonna be. Actually, even before I got a badge, you have to get this yellow wristband to prove you are vaccinated, and that was a fun line. Going up through all of that, but they're making sure everyone is vaccinated and masked. There's not like they are not being lazy about it. I was going to use a different word that I don't think is the polite word to use, but that is really like it is still full. There's still everyone there. Not as much spacing, but you're still going to notice a lot of that. But it's very interesting because as soon as you leave and go to restaurants or the mall, if in my case for lunch, there's definitely not that masking. So it's almost like its own weird bubble. But yes, that is it. And sorry, I am trying to find the name of this. I really should have put this in notes, but this is one of the few times where I didn't put it in my notes because I am, as you say, a fool. Those are those games. Wow, why can't... Is this not actually on BGG yet? Well, that is impressive then. All right. I will have to remind you later tomorrow. But after that, let's see. We got those. Finally, CEG. We went and visited them. I got to go visit them. A lot of fun there. So, where to start with them? Obviously, yeah. No, we're gonna start with the space game, the spaceship game, the one that was like number 2 or 3 for people. Let me just pull up there for like the preview list beforehand. Starship Captain. So this one, nope, I want to go to that. There we go. So this one is a bit more lighthearted. You are traveling around the universe trying to complete these missions and help save the day with your little ship and crew. The way the game will work is you'll have your crew there lined up along the side, and you'll keep pushing until you have 3 left. They come in different colors, and then be placed on different actions such as attacking, maneuvering, gaining new technology, repairing the ship. Your gray one, by the way, is an ensign. They all they can do is the green ship. It's your what was it? Not I can't. It's your Will Wheaton. I cannot remember his character's name. But throughout the game, you'll get new technology that you can actually. There's a matching system, and when you want to place them back in the track, they actually. I was telling, remind me of Aeon's End. Since you have knowledge of the order, you're gonna have to think not just the order of you activate actions, but like, okay, I want to make sure I get like 2 red in a row, then a yellow. So there's going to be a bit of manipulation there with your crewmen. And then if you see those rings in the corner of the ship, you can upgrade those crewmen to make them even stronger. As they like right there, right that. Because sometimes, they need a promotion. But I think, oh yes, some of the planets, there's lots of little references. I took a photo of this one because I'm pretty certain that is a reference to Destiny. That's right. You have to listen to me like Destiny. But like obviously it's very lighthearted space game. Like here's another reference. The mission is to gather roddenberries. I wonder what that could be referring to. But lots of really cute stuff like that, and it looks like the perfect kind of game for anyone who is into the sci-fi genre. It's all about feeling like you're building up your ship, going around, saving the day, so to speak. Really looks like a lot of fun. I can see why a lot of people were anticipating this. And this is that was a prototype. Now this next one, on the other hand, is much heavier and darker. This one is Deal with the Devil. Now, the way this game plays is it's 4 players and 4 players only. Each player is going to get one of these treasure chests that open up like you can see in this photo. Now, most people will have those nice little blue triangle pieces. Those are soul pieces. I wonder what those could be for. And most people, this is a human setup you're seeing here, as 2 players are humans. 1 player is the devil, and 1 is a cultist. The devil will not start with those soul pieces. They will actually start with a whole bunch of rewards. So you're going to secretly be able to see this. And the way it actually works is on the back side of these treasure chests, there's a QR code. You scan it with an app, so the app sort of secretly handles and knows, like, give this chest to the blue player. So it always knows the blue player is the devil, so to speak. And throughout this game, you are going to be, building up. You're just, like, gaining resources through this wheel, but also building up your own city here, gaining like evil tokens as well as holy tokens that can give either more rewards, even like, I forgot the word, but like almost like temporary souls you can give away, as well as maybe if you're too bad, the Inquisition may send more people out at you because they don't trust you. And of course, you're going to be going into debt, trying to build up your city, and this may require you, of course, going back to those lovely chests, where maybe you're going to need some help. So what's going to happen is there's trading phases in which you're going to put the resources, you actually dump all those resources out behind like a big screen. I'll show a photo of that a little bit later. And you'll put in what you're willing to offer. Like you may be willing to offer maybe resources, maybe even your parts of your soul. And that little hexagon piece pops out and you'll be like, I need 8 gold. And as you're trading around, you're going to notice the app will tell you to then secretly pass these chests to people. So as you open it, you'll be like, okay. So you won't know who the devil is because they'll randomize the chests. But like the devil is willing to pay me all these resources for just 1 soul. That might be worth it. And it's going to become this whole thing of do you keep these or not? Because as you reach towards the end of the game, this is actually the action board behind the scenes. You'll see you placing actions and stuff to make buildings or Get resources. Oh, I will talk about that a little bit later. I did not take about it, but the Inquisition pretty much you need to show that you have a soul to offer them, or else they're going to give you a huge penalty, and it becomes this crazy, huge, heavy, like Euro game that's really dark and interesting, and how it's like it's weird using the app to hide the hidden roles, and how like the devil wants to collect souls, the cultist wants to give specifically their souls to the devil, and the human player has to try and gather resources, but it's going to be really hard and tempting not to do it without the devil's help. So it's going to be very interesting. And by the way, the devil does not want to announce they're devil because there is a moment, I think called it like the witch hunt, where humans can make accusations and say, I think the green player is the devil. And that could punish them if it turns out to be true, and they get a reward for that. So all this weird sort of trading, and like that you're dealing with the devil. You don't know who the devil is, but you're going to hopefully gather enough victory points at the end. And you are still competing with each other. The humans are not working together. You want to be the best human out there. So it's just got all this crazy things going on. Thank you, CBS Inc. And Hoser. Yes, Wesley Crusher. That was the ensign I could not remember the name of. And also CBS kind of narrowing their market. I doubt everyone is cool with playing as the devil. I mean, that's definitely going to be part of the issue. That's why, luckily, they have either your lighter games, be it Code Names, the Ensign one, which is a little bit more medium-ish, and then heavier. I mean, still dealing with a demon, but they're I forget their Diablo game. We've played it, and I like it a lot. But that way, at least you're killing the devil. No, this one it's definitely really heavy game. And it looks Euro-y when you see it, but it was really clever and interesting. And I was really impressed just how they work. And I think they said, like, we tried, if you're curious about the app, they said, like, we tried without the app, but I think it was like it would be 2 hours to 4 hours just to try to make it work without it. And even then, I'm like, I don't know how you do that without giving away, obviously, what your role is with the chests. But, yeah, that was all the main meetings I went to, but there's a couple other things to go with. So sitting down and playing some games, and I'm gonna where did I put it? You sort of saw it. First one is Acropolis. This was one actually people asked about me trying out, so I actually got to play a demo full game. It's surprisingly quick for what I thought. Like, it went really fast in like a good way. Like, it feels like you got set up, made a city, and I felt really good because the way the game works is you pretty much are drafting these tiles here, and some of them go on level 2. If they go on level 2, for every white space they cover, you get stone, which you can use to pretty much pick different cards, while the color ones just get stronger. Each color scores differently. If you look at this picture, blues score, you can tell, want to be together. Red want to be on the outside. Yellow don't want to touch another yellow. Purple want to be surrounded. But they won't score unless you also have stars. So you see some of the colored ones have stars. They don't give points exactly, and they don't matter for the matching. It's more of simply just saying, you're at the end of the game, for example, blue, in this case, I have, my largest blue is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 of them are elevated, so 9, 10, they count for an extra point, times 3 blue stars I have. So 30 points. This was my board right away. So I'm like, oh, 30 points, that's so good. Got other points. And then the other board scored 60-something for their yellows there. It was absolutely, we just saw them, and everyone else at the table like, well, all right, let's see who goes for second. It's that kind of game where you might have fun and just realize, oh, God, I didn't notice what you were picking, and you just got a huge lead. So it is a lighter, but really fun in building these colors. And it was like really hilarious. I will say that if you are into heavier games, you might not like it a lot because this is the kind of game where when you're drafting all the tiles, it puts, I think it's 1 plus the number of players, or 1 or 2 plus the number of players. It's the kind of game where you're like, I know that tile is worth 4 points for me, 4 points for me, 2 points for me, 5 points. Like, the optimal. So that's the one thing I'd be wary about with that game. But the next one I want to talk about here is this one. Oh, God. I hurt my neck there. Where is it? I have the little posted card for it. I leave it in this bag? Oh God, they had a cute little. There it is. Right? No, that isn't it. Gosh darn it! I had a thing for this. All right. Well, I will not be able to show off the cute little QR code then for now. But this is the I believe it was Monster Manor is the exact name of the game. Let me just double check really quick. Once again, times when I didn't actually make a note, and I should have because I thought I had a little card that was gonna. It's not Monster Manor, I can tell you that. Um, well, anyways, I'll explain the game while I look up. So this game is looked really cool. Its rooms are changing and shifting, and the boss is sending out these scarabs that can flip over the rooms that make them less usable for you. So you got to clear them out. So it looked like a really fun cooperative game with a heavily shifting board. So I'm looked really awesome. I think I have another picture here of that. Oh yeah, cool little cooks. Yeah, like here's a player character, and you'll gain experience. Actually, you can see there you'll be leveling up your different stats. So really excited. I'm very curious. I think this is Kickstarter later this year, if I recall correctly. But looked a lot of fun. That's what I want to look up really quick because I know this one should be. Thought it was on that, but I cannot. Gosh darn it! You are seeing my brilliance at work here. Yeah, but yeah, gaining experience. There's a monster that will level up and get angrier and angrier with more powers that you can hardly believe in. Oh my God, my phone is not wanting to act the way I want it to. That is a very cute photo I came around to white. But this one was the Maple Valley, another game someone else last night asked about. Oh my God, why did my phone just explode? It opened up 100 tabs. The other day, the sort of sequel to the previous game. What was the previous one called? I cannot find the name of the previous one either because I didn't. I wrote this one down. I wrote Maple Valley, but this one is setting up for a spring festival. This is obviously very prototypey Kickstarter, and you'll be moving. You'll be playing cards that have like either green, blue, or brown element, and move along those paths. You can, if you play a green card, you can only move along green paths. And there is a fire truck going by. You can probably hear that. I hope that you all enjoy the sound of that. But if you ever go over these blue tokens, those are resources. So each spot has different resources you can gather from. But the round you're in may also double up the resources you're in. It was very cute, light, and fun. It was really interesting. And also, you can buy friend cards, but if you don't get a friend card each round, because that determines the number of turns each round, you get a separate card that gives resources so you don't feel like you're penalized for not getting a friend that round. But it was really cute, light, and fun. So I'm very happy I got to try that out. Thank you to whoever suggested that game. But what else did I play that wasn't of the list games I listed? Oh, right. I have my list here. Acropolis, yes. Capers Europe. This is from the same people who did Parks. Keystone Games, I believe. No, not Keystone. Yeah, no, Keystone, yes. This one is a 2-player drafting game, which was really interesting because the way it works is you're going to randomly have different locations, and you'll take a card. You each take a card from your hand and give the other person, but like the cards, there's each location has a tug of war of who's going to get the one to rob the place. So you're going to have to find out how to not only get different sets, but also fight your opponent for certain locations. So quick, but looks like a really fun kind of back and forth game there. I think I'm going through my notes. If there anything else I'm forgetting about here? No, I got Acropolis and stuff. Um, Creature comforts, yes, Hoser, thank you. The Capers one is only 2-player. Want to make sure the Maple Valley, that one was I think 4. I want to say 4. Hoser, I'm not obviously hydrated, or else I wouldn't be being a complete fool right now. I am well fed. I mean, as well fed as anyone can be at Gen Con trying to get a quick meal. Oh, CBS Link. Yeah, no, it's gonna. This one's all about the board. It looked really fun with the way the Manor game worked out with that. I felt like I'm missing something. What am I? It's not on my notes, but I feel like I'm forgetting something that I did play. Let me check out my other notes. Maybe I put in a different one accidentally, because I totally saw something else. Oh, maybe I'm just thinking Acropolis. But yeah, pretty much it's running between these at times when I try to sit down in the games. Like, and it's hard because I see, like, in between these times when I try to sit down, I see the Schrodinger's cat game, a trick-taking game from AEG Games, and I'm standing there, I'm like, I want to get a game in. Oh, I have a meeting soon. Then I also trying to get the War of the Rings card game, the Turing game. I'm trying to sit down and or maybe even just try to pick it up tomorrow. Those sell out really quick, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was all the games. Any other questions? Any other games that you check out? I know I checked out the Maple Valley. People asked yesterday. The Acropolis. People asked yesterday. I know someone asked about the My Little Pony game, but I didn't know that they had a separate room for the gameplay, so I'm going to have to try that one tomorrow. CBS says, yeah, the Cat in the Box one looks great. Yeah, no, it looks really cool. I'm really curious to see how it plays. It's just, of course, finding the time to find an open table when my time is available to sit down. It's much harder when it's just me running around to play everything. It was a little bit easier when you can have someone play half the games and someone play the other half. I still usually by this time have zigzagged through the entire convention. There are still areas I haven't visited. Yeah, CBS Inc. I talked about that earlier. I got to check out Clank Catacombs. I'm really excited about because the tiles, the way they work is they have some basic tiles in the beginning, but then the tiles later on, the way they sort of punish exploration in this one is there are ghost tiles that add a cube to the bag that you pull from for noise making, and anytime a ghost cube is pulled out, everyone takes a damage regardless, so the more haunt tiles that come out, the more damage that people are going to happen. And I think they said it's pretty much, I don't know if they said literally impossible, but pretty much impossible to flip over every tile without everyone dying. So this seems to be a lot more of pushing your luck in terms of what comes out, as well as you may be forced to, because if the way down to get the treasure you wanted may have been one way. And there are cards that will rotate tiles and mess up paths, so one moment you think you have a straight route, and then someone rotates it, and then you're like, well, I guess I'm going this way now. So that's definitely one I'm really excited about. I think pre-orders are open for that one now. Yes, I'm pretty sure pre-orders are open for the Clank Catacombs. So absolutely worth checking out if you like Clank. It is not an expansion. It's a standalone set. I want to make that very clear. So we will not mix the other things. So you don't have to feel guilty if you don't have all the Clank stuff. And if you do have all the Clank stuff, you don't think what would mix with it. Because it's really designed to have that randomness, not a set map. But yes, that is it for now. Let me know, of course, what games you guys would like me to check out. Like I said, I'm gonna try hard to get both Turing, the Cat in the Box game, the War of the Ring card game. I really want to try. Let me know, of course, in the comments, or just tweet at me, comment, message. Just let me know. And I said, I will make it a priority to stop by and see these things. But without further ado, yeah, that was all. So much going on. Obviously, I'll have maybe a bit of a better thing. I'll sum up all the stuff better than in my streams. Adam wants to know if I saw any interesting app integrated games. Well, Bargain with the Devil was one that needs an app. It had to pretty much. It's the only way you can hide your loot without giving away your rolls. So, but yeah, we're slowly seeing apps come more and more out. It's just the problem is they're not well received. They tend to be people don't like the apps. and 2, it requires programming and all that stuff. And I feel like if it doesn't do something like, if it's just tracking life totals, everyone's gonna be like, well, this just isn't worth it. If it does something new and innovative that is literally you could not do, or you to do on paper in physical form would be extremely difficult, that takes a bit more time. But that is definitely, I think, where we're going to see more and more, because I think that's where we can expand the board game space. I'll probably do more of a video talking about that. Yeah, and money. Well, it's money because that's also, they tend to be, it's not the, like, you won't see an app game for something like this. You're going to see an app game for, I don't have anything big enough to explain, but, your Mansions of Madness. It's where they're going to go all in on it. So, yeah. Thank you again. David seems to agree. I should definitely, the War of the Ring game looks awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's like I haven't played the original, but this looks cool, and I got to try it out. But thank you, everyone, who stopped by. And if you're at Gen Con, please say hi to me. I always am excited when anyone talks to me. Do not. It's always cool to meet all of you people. You're the ones who actually are good at playing all these games. I'm just trying to tell you what I see. But for now, thank you so much. Stay tuned, Instagram, Twitter, I'll be tweeting out all the stuff. Obviously, later on, we'll be giving away these promos and maybe some other goodies. So stay tuned for all of that. But other than that, thank you so much for stopping by and listening to my rambles. One more stream tomorrow for what I see Saturday. And Sunday is when I come back. And then I'll probably do a wrap-up video and talk about more in a much more, not tired and exhausted form, and where I forget and don't do a good job doing notes. It'll be much more prepped time. But thank you for everyone who stopped by now, and let me know again what your thoughts on, what you liked. But hopefully I'll get to see you soon. Bye, everyone.